Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show that's going to apologize in advance for dumping the entire canister of lighter fluid on the grill. But it looked like the burgers and the dogs needed it. It is America's birthday, after all. That's right. Welcome to another episode of Dad's Turn to Talk. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We are filming this episode on the eve of Independence Day. And isn't it ironic? Because the two gentlemen who are with me this evening would do their part in yelling, "The Redcoats are coming," way back when that happened. That's right. We're talking about our co-hosts. First, ladies, back off. He's married. The one and only Josh. Josh, hello. Hello, Josh.
Hi, Derek. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
I am good. I'm very excited tonight, not only for the show and also for what happened last week. What a great show. Who would have thought that two Jewish boys could talk about Jesus and get a ton of views and a lot of compliments?
Yeah, that was our most watched show. So.
And
go ahead.
And the other thing I'm happy about is my wife went to the grocery store today, and we're about to try zero sugar Mountain Dew. I've never had it. Let's see how I like it. Pretty good. Yeah, I still think the Sunkist is my favorite.
Well, yeah, okay. You mean
I know, pretty good.
You're running bush league unless you're drinking that, but that'll do. That's fine.
Yeah, pretty good. But I'm doing great, Jericho. Glad to be here tonight. Happy 4th, America.
Happy 4th, America. And you know what?
Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
I'm so glad you caught that, Bob. I was like waiting. That's why I said
I was waiting for the right moment to throw that in. So.
Oh, that's why I said it.
Very good. Well, that last episode, I couldn't agree more, Josh. Of course, that was something to like. That 4th of July presentation was something to like. Speaking of like, you know what else we should talk about in terms of like? Go ahead and feel free to like our little shindig here. And you know what? Let's take it a step further. Don't worry. You'll just get some extra credit. There's a subscribe button right next to that. Thumbs up. Go ahead and click that too. We'd love to have you. All right. So that's one co-host. Our second co-host is one that's gotten into my head. It's in my brain. And I'll tell you why. Because last week I finished a great session of grilling. And I'm about to do it tomorrow. And like I said last week, when I was done with the food, I'll probably say it again tomorrow. All I could think was it good? The one and only Bob, ladies and gentlemen. Bob, how are we this evening?
You know what, Derek? I am doing great. In honor of Josh, I decided to one-up him tonight. And I've got Mountain Dew.
Oh!
This is the Purple Thunder with a blast of berry plum.
How is it?
Let's find out.
Oh, you haven't tried it yet? Okay, this is cool.
Wait for it.
I've burped up stuff better than this.
No, actually, it's really good. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
I booked stuff.
Okay, well, now I have to go find one that's not one of those two. And now I have to become part of the initiation here.
No, they got several flavors that I've had over the years. I don't know. Do you remember the Live Wire flavor that they had? It was like an orange or something like that. They had a zero version of that. They also their Code Red. They had a zero version of that. So I've had some of the other zeros. This is the first time I'm trying this one. So this one's pretty good.
Now, did you go to the gas station and just buy that one, or did you buy a whole case?
No, I got it at the gas station.
Do I know you?
That's right. Well, they don't sell this by the case, so.
No, probably not. Yeah.
There's an AM PM right down the street that's got my name. Call it loud. All right.
At the AM PM.
Yep, that's right. So, what a fun show we have for you this evening, folks. A lot of interesting topics tonight. And, the first one I think we're going to talk about, boys, we should have invited our friends for this one, honestly.
Yeah,
I know. So, Jeremy, Gazelle, we'll invite you back to get your thoughts on this. And some point we will get that done. But it's just going to be us three tonight, folks. LeBron Jr. has been drafted by the Lakers. He was the 55th pick that was in the second round. And I think plenty did see this as a very big real-life possibility. There may have been a couple other teams in there, but there weren't many contenders. I think Dad wanted him to play on his team, but maybe there were some others in there that he would have accepted. So here we are. Bronny, a Los Angeles Laker. Gents, why don't we go around and tell how we feel. Josh, you've had a lot on your mind with the Star Wars stuff. So we're going to let you go first just because you need some therapy. So you go ahead.
Thank you. By the way, Acolyte last night. Sorry.
I don't know why keep doing this.
Because now it's my new favorite Tuesday. Tuesday night and Wednesday nights, Derek, are my new favorite nights because I get to complain to Bobby on Tuesday nights and tell him how bad it is. And then Wednesday, I get you guys. And I get to complain about it again.
And he complains about it all day long. At least on my video, I have some fun with it on my review.
Yeah, you just yell.
Please join us in a couple of weeks, everyone, for the rise and fall of Disney Star Wars. Coming soon to a computer to you. Anyway, Bronny, oh, God. Well, first time ever in NBA history, a father and son playing together.
That's true.
We were, all of us, come on. We're pretty kind of knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe I was wrong. I thought it was going to be first round. I don't know why. I thought it was maybe better than the 55th pick.
I can understand that, Josh. I could understand why you thought that.
Right? Like because that's all they kept talking about.
That's why.
Yeah, that was it.
I don't know. I just think will it get more fans, at crypto.com arena to see this? Yeah. Are they going to be championship material? I don't know. I just, it's going to be interesting to see how Bronny plays with his dad, how his dad plays with, Bronny. I'll tell you what, though, it kept LeBron there for another couple of years.
Yeah, he signed a 2-year extension?
He signed a 2-year extension, and it had to have been of that. He probably told him, look, sign my son and I'll sign an extension and not go anywhere else. So defeats my thing that I said that I thought he was going somewhere else.
Did we not say, though, that if he were to stay with the Lakers, it would, in fact, only be 2 seasons? I think we were pretty...
I don't know. Did you say it, Derek? Maybe you said
I thought that. I think Jeremy thought the same thing. And I think we both said he probably stays. And I believe we both said it's not going to go any longer than 2 seasons. And that will probably be a wrap for LeBron Sr.
Yeah. I'm curious about JJ Redick and what he's going to be. Is like
he's okay. I'll get to him in a minute. Bob,
okay.
Please.
All right. So as far as I'm concerned, I think this was simply a way just to keep LeBron there for a couple of years because I think they want to try to get another championship with LeBron. I think they feel that LeBron and maybe Anthony Davis still are their best options to get there. I mean, they didn't exactly have the greatest season ever, and yet they still made the playoffs. And the year before, with virtually the same team and a worse record, they went all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So I think they're thinking that they're right on the cusp. And when they lost this year, again, they didn't have the greatest record in the world, but I mean, they lost to the defending national champs.
World champs.
Well, yeah. So they lost the defending champs. So it's not like they lost to a scrub. So I think they wanted to keep LeBron there. And I think this was their way of making him happy. Because, I'm looking at Bronny's stats and, he averaged, assuming I'm looking at the right ones here, he averaged 4.8 points a game, 2.8 rebounds and 2.1 assists per game. That's not exactly lighting it up there. And so I know there was talk that maybe he wasn't healthy last year because of what had happened to him the year before with the cardiac arrest. But as far as I know, he was cleared and he played in 20 plus games this year. So it wasn't like he was sitting and then just came out and played the last 10 games or something like that. And he had to get back in shape. I mean, he played a good portion of the game. So I don't know if he really brings what the Lakers need to get over the hump to get back to the NBA Finals. But just personally, I think it was a way to keep LeBron there because I still think that they think LeBron is their best way to get there.
Fair analysis.
I think SC struggled this year with, and with Bronny, like they didn't make the tournament.
I know he wasn't too happy playing there. That's for sure.
So I don't know. Go ahead, Derek. What do you think?
Okay, so you remember the gauntlet that Thanos put on his hand there with all the nice little stones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might as well give LeBron that because that's what he has over the Los Angeles Lakers. He has full power and control. That's all this was.
Yeah.
And he got $104 million for another 2 seasons, so he got paid. Now he's getting his son there. It will solve none of the problems that they have. It's not going to do anything. Now, to Bob's point, they are good. They are a good team. They're not championship. And this will do nothing in order to help their cause. So it seems to me like they've just, keeled over and toted to every single one of his demands. And they're not going to make any changes probably until he leaves. And I'm sorry, Jeremy, I know that's probably going to upset you. But I think he and I are on the same page where it's finally time to start admitting some truths. And I don't see the Lakers going anywhere better than the way they did last time.
Didn't Anthony Davis want to be traded also this year? Like, weren't there talks about him being traded? Like, isn't he not happy?
There were some discussions about it, but I don't believe it was anything serious. It felt light.
Now that they made the coaching change, even if there were discussions, I'm sure that's out the window now.
Right. Let's talk about that for a second. JJ Redick's not going to do anything on that team. You know why?
Tell us.
Yes.
Does Josh want to guess?
Because I feel he's going to be a yes man and listen to LeBron.
It's basically like Mike McCarthy on the Dallas Cowboys. He'll do nothing. He's not the Bus family. He's not LeBron. That's it.
He's never coached before. He's never coached.
Well, then it'll be really easy. He won't have to do anything.
I mean, he could be like the Wade Phillips, Bob, of, where you're just the yes guy and, you don't do, LeBron takes over. LeBron's running the system.
There is rumor. I don't know if it's rumor, but there's definitely been, like certain talk about the fact that when you're the coach for the LA Lakers, that's pretty much what it is that it's you don't have a lot of authority and you don't get paid very well. The idea is that you're on the Lakers. That should be, exciting enough for you.
Right.
So maybe he didn't mind that his first time coaching. Maybe that was okay to, he said, okay, I'll deal with that. It's my first year anyway. But it's not going to matter if he doesn't have any power. LeBron has all the power, right?
It's not exactly a real stable job, though. I mean,
no, it's not.
How many have come in after a couple of years and they're gone?
First on the chopping block.
Yeah.
This is a very much a what have you done for me lately team. Yeah. And I get that. The NBA is very much that way. I mean, you have teams that have gone to the finals and, the next year they're firing their coach because they lost or they got a losing record in the first half of the season.
Well, this is an interesting thing. Bob, you and I have been watching basketball together many, many years. Derek, I know you've gotten into it big time in the last 10 to 15 years, probably. If I had told you, Bob, if you think even when, who was it? Harris was the coach of the Lakers. Phil Jackson, it just goes up the food chain there. If I had said a coach like Hurley basically said, no, thank you to the Lakers job, you would have called me crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I would have.
That's how crazy it is now. That's how nuts the NBA is now.
Well, let me ask you, speaking of the what have you done for me lately, what if Bronny comes out there and doesn't do all that great?
No.
Like, is there going to have to be a very honest conversation to be had?
Well, I think he gets
he was a second round pick, though.
Yeah, I think he gets a pretty long leash, at least the first season, because he is going to be a rookie. He is a second round pick. Like if he was a first round pick, they would expect him to earn a starting job, maybe not right away, but before the season's out to be starting. And now he's got a little bit of leeway to grow. So I do think he's got a long leash in this case.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on him though, man.
Yes.
A lot. and this is the Lakers.
Pressure? Oh,
so,
yeah.
I don't know how much of a. I mean, you're right. He probably has longer than a first round would, but I don't know how long that leash really is, and I'm a little bit nervous if this kind of comes back. Maybe this is maybe I'm reading too much on this for the first year. Who knows? He's still a young kid and he hasn't got a chance to even prove himself yet. But I don't know. I'm just thinking if they're already kind of catering to LeBron anyway, then maybe they won't care about the first year. Maybe they'll just be like, hey, he needs time.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think so.
It could very well be it.
Can I throw out something that all of us probably will not agree on, but I'm just curious. I'm going to throw it out there. What if by just some chance the Lakers won it all? Would LeBron retire or would he stay? Yeah.
Sorry, John, that was the best joke you've told in a long time. The Lakers winning it all.
I know, right?
We haven't seen Jay Jonah in a while. That was good.
Do you think he would retire, or would he stay with his? Would he try to stay? Be loyal to his son?
Okay, I see where you're going.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But.
Well, that's the thing. I think that these are his final 2 years. I don't see him playing past this.
Yeah.
And I do think he'll play both years. I don't think he'll leave after this first one, even if they win the championship. I think if they did, by some miracle, that he'll turn around and come back and try to win a second one.
He would go until loss of limb if he really had it his way. So, even if he would win it this year, I'm with Bob on this. I don't think he's just going to stop. It is going to be his final 2 years, though. It's unrealistic, I think, to believe that he'd be the same LeBron, even though the age he's at now, the way he is playing is remarkable. This is Santa going through the hourglass. This is not going to last much longer. Father
Time eventually catches you. I mean, look at Tom Brady. He played all the way up. How old was he when he finally left? 43, 44?
45. He's older.
45 when he left?
Yeah, 45, 46. Yeah, remember, Bob, he played in the Citrus Bowl and we were still in high school.
Okay. So the point I was making is that as elite as he was playing, you look at his years with Tampa Bay, it was 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
2.
Okay.
No,
so his first
2.
I thought he played 3 because remember he played 2 and then he came back
the
1 year, and that's what caused him to get divorced.
Yes, you are
but
right.
Okay, the point I was going to make is that he won a Super Bowl 1 year. The next year, although they made the playoffs, but he didn't exactly, or I shouldn't say the team didn't exactly look all that great, but he played great. So he comes back for the final season, and it looked like his arm had turned into a noodle.
Yeah,
and that's not a knock on him. It's just that as elite as he was playing just 1-2 seasons before, and 2 years removed from a Super Bowl, Father Time finally caught him.
Yep, it's true.
Mother Earth and Father Time, they don't do jobs anyway.
No. Hey, Derek, I have a question. Do you think the Lakers, if they had never gotten rid of Ingram and Ball and all of them, and they all stuck together with this team?
Yeah.
Are we talking more of a championship level team?
Okay. I think if they all stuck together, eventually Father Time would catch up to them there too.
Okay.
I think they would have been a lot better. I mean, you look at I think Brandon Ingram is an extremely good player. Yeah. I think Josh Hart, who was one of those players that got sent out of there, it was Josh Hart, right? He was part of that group.
There was somebody else.
Yeah, so it was Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball, Ingram, and somebody else.
I'm wanting to say it was Josh Hart.
Was it Hart? God, I wish Jeremy was here. There was someone else.
Let me look it up real quick, but I think it was Josh Hart.
There was somebody else that. Oh God, I thought Derek, you mentioned him a couple weeks ago. Now I can't think of, or maybe it was Jer.
Sure, probably was Jeremy.
Somebody called Jeremy, live TV. No, I think he's in New York right now, so he won't answer.
That's too bad. Anyway, to extend that a little bit further, Josh, I think the issue is that between the younger teams like you see in Minnesota and the way Denver just has their number,
probably
third or fourth in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd be better. I'll give you that. They'd be better.
Yeah.
Championship, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it was the Lakers.
It was the Lakers. How about that?
Because
what?
He played with the Lakers, and then he went to New Orleans, and he was with he was sent there with Brandon Ingram
and Ball, right? Or did Ball go to the Bulls?
I believe so.
No, he went to New Orleans.
Yes.
They all went to New Orleans.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They all went to New Orleans.
But there's another
because
player.
that was when they got took Anthony Davis.
No, but there was another player we're missing. Who else was on that team?
No, it was Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, and Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
But my point is, you look at Josh. Where I was going to go with this is that Josh Hart, played extremely well with the Knicks this year. Brandon Ingram is a pretty good player. Now, Lonzo Ball, he's had a lot of injuries lately. I don't even think he played all season this year.
Yeah, he's been.
So, that's a whole different situation there. But I do think having Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball there would have made the team a lot more competitive, because you look at them besides Anthony Davis and LeBron, there's not a player on that team that really steps up as a guy, I think, who can be like that scorer who can generate offense if the other two are struggling or getting double teamed or whatnot. Brandon Ingram could have been that type of player.
I know who it was. Rondo.
Was it Rondo?
Rajon Rondo. I just looked it up. 2019, because I wanted to see who they had, and I knew it was somebody else. Yeah, because they had Rondo, Lance Stevenson, your Josh Hart.
No, but wasn't he on the championship team in 2020?
Probably. I looked at 2019 just for the heck of it, because I couldn't remember
But if he was part of the 2020 team.
Alex Caruso. Wait a minute. Hold on one second.
Maybe it was Rondo, but because Caruso, I know, was part of that.
Hold on. AD and Lonzo. Okay, this is weird, because Anthony Davis is on this team, and so is Lonzo Ball and all those guys we just mentioned. Tyson Chandler. They're all there.
It's the 2020 team or the 2019 team?
That was the 2019. I thought they traded those guys away for Anthony Davis.
Or was it? Well, hold on. Wait, when was Dwight Howard?
Okay, Josh. I'm going to give you the answer, and I was right. I'm just looking it up right now.
Okay.
New Orleans made the decision to trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers for Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart, and then they had 3 first-round draft picks.
Okay.
For it. So it was just those 3.
No, I'm just saying that if you took Ball and what we were just saying, Ball, Hart, and who was the third one we said?
Brandon Ingram. Yeah, if you kept them on the Lakers, would they be a better team?
Mentioning Rondo as well. If Rondo was still there, that's all I was saying. Would they be a team with this team?
My answer stays the same.
So third or fourth seed, Derek, is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, maybe the second, but I think that is a stretch. I think third or fourth will probably be around there. Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I don't think Bronny really takes them to that next level. Even if he does develop, I don't think he takes them to that next level. Especially if their whole purpose is to get another championship before LeBron retires. I don't think Bronny takes them to that level.
No.
I think there were better picks than Bronny that could have taken them there. Now, if they believe that LeBron can turn into the next LeBron, then okay. But I don't recall anybody when Bronny was playing, even at USC, everybody was like, okay, this is the next guy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
LeBron was anointed to be the next guy when he was still in high school. He was drafted out of high school. And I mean, this is before they made them do the one and done. He was drafted right out of high school. He came in, everybody knowing he was going to be the guy. He was going to become the face of the NBA. Nobody's saying that about Bronny.
No.
And again, I'm not saying that he can't achieve that. Obviously, he can do anything as if he's got the talent and he's got the work ethic.
Right. Yeah, that's got to be a hard position to be in, though.
Yeah,
I know. So it's never had a father and son. We've had brothers, like the Lopez brothers.
Yeah, for sure.
Never had, you've never had a father and a son together. But I remember, Derek, LeBron, they had asked him, if you didn't leave high school, where were you going to college? He was coming to U of A.
Yeah, that's right.
He was heading to U of A. Bill Walton and Dick Vitale did his high school game on ESPN. That's how big he was. But Bronny has not. And you can't even say. I don't think it would be fair to say he's lived up to the expectations, because it's really I don't know.
Well, how do you live up? First off, any expectations they put on him are unrealistic.
Exactly.
And the reason why they're unrealistic is it's not just the fact that you got a father and a son playing together. It's that the father is easily on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA. And it pains me to say that because I can't stand LeBron. But LeBron is easily one of the best. If I had to put him on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA, he would be my number 3 all time.
Wow.
I wouldn't put him, and the reason I put him at number 3 is because I have Jordan at number 1 and I got Kobe at number 2.
Most people do.
Yeah,
most people do.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty standard activity, standard protocol there, and no one can really argue it either. Well, some people would argue it for LeBron, but I'm with Bob. I go with his.
I agree.
A little bit more.
Number 4 is tough. Number 4 is tough because then you start really having to look at.
Number 4 could be a lot of different people.
Right. And then the question is, when you're I hear people argue Mount Rushmore, and then I argue a starting 5. My starting 5 wouldn't necessarily be the Mount Rushmore, because, for example, I have Kobe at number 2 on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
but he wouldn't be in my starting 5 because he played the same position that Michael played.
Yeah, that's true.
So
would you put at center?
For that reason, Jordan would be the starting shooting guard.
Who would you put at center?
It would either be Wilt Chamberlain,
okay,
or I would argue Shaquille O'Neal, even though I know there are centers who have put up bigger numbers like Kareem and whatnot. But when you watched Shaq when he played, he was just the most dominant player in the NBA. I mean,
he was a moving wall.
Yeah, so that's the only reason why I would argue him. But I would probably put Wilt as my starter.
See, I was thinking Elijah one.
Elijah one is not a bad choice either.
Because he had so much flexibility and he could do stuff. Who would you pick, Derek?
I probably lean to what Bob was. I probably go Wilt. Honestly, even Shaq has said. Even Shaq, who will have no problem telling you how good he was, he'll even say Wilt was better than me. Like he'll full-fledged admit it.
I mean, this is a whole podcast, by the way.
It is.
Yeah, that's
podcast of
absolutely
talking about who are the top 5, who's on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that goes back to the only reason I brought him up as part of the Mount Rushmore is because how do you live up to that expectation? It's almost impossible, and it'd be unfair to expect Bronny to achieve that. Again, I'm not saying that he can't. I mean, obviously, if he's got the talent and the work ethic, maybe he can. But what I'm saying is that would be unrealistic expectations when your father is on the Mount Rushmore of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy.
I mean, look, you know how much we love Dirty Dom's story over in wrestling, but as much as we love him, can we ever expect him to live up to Rey Mysterio Jr.?
No, and he shouldn't be expected to do that. No,
but he's his own person. Like, he's such a great heel.
Yeah, he is. But that's kind of where I'm going, is that he developed his own persona, and that's kind of what Bronny needs to do, be himself. Because to expect to be LeBron, that's I don't want to say impossible, but it's improbable.
Yeah, highly improbable.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Bronny, good luck, man. You know,
good luck, Bronny.
Hey, you made it. You made it in. Congratulations. I hope it all works out for you. I'm glad you and your dad get to play together. I'm sure that'll be a nice thing to see, if nothing else. So
Exactly.
there we are. Let's talk any other news and notes about free agency. I have one in particular I'd like to discuss.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Bye-bye, Clay Thompson. Bye-bye, Clay. Bye-bye, Clay Thompson. Ah! And on that note, drink the champions drink.
This is quite good, though. That's growing on me a little bit.
I gotta go try. I gotta go to the AM/PM. I know. So yeah, Clay going to the Dallas Mavericks for I want to say 4-year deal. If I'm not mistaken on that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 4 years. The rumor though is that he actually got an offer from the Lakers, and he didn't take it.
Really?
Wow.
Uh-huh. The Lakers apparently offered him a 4-year deal for $80 million.
Wow.
So that means he was going to get, probably 18 to 20 up front, right? For the first season.
Yeah.
But then he saw how much money they were coughing up, and apparently the rumor is that he's like, I don't think they have 20 million. So he went to Dallas.
I did hear that what came to his decision, or what came into his final decision, was he wanted to go somewhere where he thought he had a chance to win a championship. And after all, the Mavs did make it to the NBA Finals, and looking at their team, they were just simply overmatched by Boston. Yes, and we talked about that how Boston was just stacked at every single position, and that was tough for the Mavericks to overcome. So I think it's a good move for Clay.
Yeah,
I think it's a good move for Clay, but I am curious to see what that starting 5 for the Mavs is going to look like now, because I'm assuming you're still going to have Kyrie. You're going to, of course, have Luka. You're going to have Clay as part of that 5. But then where do you go with the others? Because they had what's his name, Derek Jones, and they had or Derek Jones. They had PJ Washington, and it was Gafford. I'm assuming the starting 5 will be rounded out by Gafford and Washington.
Maybe. I think Minnesota still would have been a better matchup against Boston.
That's besides the point. They lost.
I know.
Well, I think you know what. Here's what I'm thinking. What will happen there? Look, you're not going to get the Clay that once was. You're not going to get Splash Brothers Clay. You will not get that. What you will get though is a great assist man for the rest of the starting cast. You will get somebody that will be a great aid. So if you can get that with Clay, when you've already got a pretty loaded, starting group, Dallas may be able to get over the hump. With Clay and the starting folks they already have, and I don't know how they drafted, but I got to factor that into this too. So maybe Dallas is making moves, man. So Clay, we're gonna miss you, and this is going to be where the Warriors dynasty officially ends.
Yeah.
Now, I knew it was coming. Warriors fans should not be surprised. Not everything can last. We had a good run, great dynasty. It's time to rebuild. Any other?
I thought Paul George going to the 76ers was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
And
why?
The thing is you look at that team. Maxey and Embiid are extremely good, but they did need another scorer, and simply because there was just so much put on those two last year. I do think Paul George gives them that boost, and I think it was a good move for Paul George to get out from the Clippers, because the Clippers just aren't the way they were built as good as Paul George was, and having the roster that they had, they weren't going to get over the hump. Kawhi's always hurt, and it just didn't seem ever to work right for them. Kawhi should have stayed in Toronto, and Paul George, I think he would have been better had Kawhi not come over and Chris Paul had stuck around with the Clippers. I think would have been a better fit, but I think this was a better move for Paul George.
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Kawhi. I've always thought that, he's been really talented. I've seen him live, like play, and he's a really, really talented guy. But to Bob's point, the Clippers have never really had the squad ever.
They put the squad together, and I don't think
They're close.
they're consistently. There's somebody hurt consistently. A lot of time with Kawhi, they have not had that roster together, and then when they are together, they only play for a few games before somebody else gets hurt.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And they float around 5 to 7. Like that's as far as they go. You ever notice that in this season?
Yes, for many years.
Yep. So
and they've had talent. They've had coaching, and never gone over the hump.
Let's put it this way: it was not a fluke that the Mavericks beat them.
No, not at all. And I think Philly does need to start making some changes on their side too. They've been trying to do their own same dance consistently for Lord knows how long now, and it hasn't gotten them over the hump either. So changes are.
I think Maxey is really turning into a great player there, and I think having Paul George will take some of that pressure off of him. And Embiid, same thing. Embiid is going to do Embiid things, and if he can stay healthy, and I feel bad for him because he's always getting hurt, like right at the end of the season, going into the playoffs, and he's always banged up as in the playoffs, and they just can't get over that hump. I think having Paul George will help them out there.
Oh yeah, big time.
In the words of a Gazelle, there will be 3 teams out of the East. That will be it. So hopefully Philly will, get up in there and be a contender. We'll see. We'll see what the moves look like.
Boston, Milwaukee, maybe New York.
I don't know about Milwaukee.
I would say this year, assuming that the moves that I'm seeing being made, I'm assuming it's going to be Boston. I'm assuming it's going to be Philly back in the picture. I like I said, I do like the move of Paul George going there. And then the other, I kind of like what Cleveland's doing. I think like we mentioned this in our other podcast, we thought that they were a year too early or a couple years too early.
That was what it was. Yeah.
And they just signed Donovan Mitchell to a max extension. And so you look at the 2 bigs that they got and the rest of that squad. I think that that's a squad that's hungry, and I think they could make a run.
I think that Cleveland needs about 2 more seasons to reach their real, like, go for it. I'm giving them that. I think they need some seasoning. I think they'll do very well in the East. I think there's still a couple of teams like Josh had mentioned, in terms of Boston. New York will. I mean, if those 7 come back, they're probably going to be right at the top of the heat too.
If they can stay healthy.
Yeah, well, that's a good point as well. But Cleveland will be in the mix.
Maybe the
Pacers. Pacers, yes, but I don't know. I kind of wonder if Pacers were a little bit of a fluke at the end of all this because they got bumped pretty hard.
I think what helped them was the fact that New York was so banged up.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And one pillar falls, they can all go. So, and eventually they did.
So,
all right. Any other moves, gentlemen, we want to talk about?
No.
Yeah.
We will be bringing on the basketball correspondent soon enough. Don't worry, folks. They'll be joining us to provide all the color commentary that we need here on Dad's Turn to Talk. Let us proceed to something that, we know within the NBA that it's, a lot of things are unknown right now, but we know for sure about something. And that something is Cobra Kai. And if you have a problem with this show, you're more than free to leave. I don't want to hear it. Right? And if you're going to start sending the hate mail, send it to Josh. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And I'm not a bot. I'm not a bot. Not a bot.
So, folks, the part 1 trailer for the final season has just recently come out. And for those who haven't seen it, I think you're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. So I believe what we wanted to do was share this for the world to see.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull it up here.
Go for it.
Okay. All right, let me share my screen. All right, can you guys see it?
Yes.
Let me.
We've been through a lot to get to this point, but now we're finally on the same page.
We may have settled things in the valley, but now we have to be ready for whatever the world throws at us. The Saikai Taikai tournament is coming. Now is not the time to puss out. You're gonna fight the best in the world.
Do I want to know what that's for?
Training, Rocky IV style, gonna chop down a tree carried through the snow.
Now, what could possibly go wrong?
No matter what life throws at you, you gotta stay on your feet.
Our strength is we teach both styles equally. Don't jeopardize that balance, man.
Since when do I run shit by you?
Since we have no idea what we're up against.
Only through pain does a champion reveal himself.
Yes, Sensei!
It's one thing to be the best in town, it's another to be the best in the world.
It just means I'm gonna have to beat Robbie again.
I thought you were Miyagi-Do now.
You think things are better because now I'm training in your dad's backyard?
I think we have our strongest team.
I think they can handle anything.
Bitch, don't you know I know karate? What's that?
Miyagi-san buried secrets for a reason. If we open, anything is possible.
So good. So
All
good.
right.
What do you think's in the box?
Miyagi's recipes for noodle soup.
You know what's funny is that it probably would be. That would be so typical Mr. Miyagi to do something like that.
How to catch flies with chopsticks.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the way Mr. Miyagi used to think, like Daniel asks him in the original film, he's like, what kind of belt do you have? J.C. Penney, do you like it?
Where did all these cars come from? Detroit.
Or when they get into the car and he tells Daniel to drive and he's like, oh, well, I don't drive so good. Me neither. Well, I don't have a license. Me neither.
God.
Miyagi had some zingers that were great.
Yeah. I love the chemistry between Miyagi and Kreese. It was just the stuff they did against each other. It was crazy.
Too much advantage, your dojo.
Oh, God. What a trailer, huh?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
This looks pretty good. What I'm curious to see. Okay, so in the scene where they say, or you see Miguel turn around and say he's going to have to beat Robbie because obviously they're going to try to choose. Obviously, it's going to come down to one of those two as possibly being the champ. Do you think that maybe this is Robbie's turn? Because we've seen Miguel as the champ. We've saw Hawk win the whole thing.
Yep.
Robbie hasn't been able to get over that hump yet. Do you think maybe this is finally his time?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. I think we've had Johnny, who's kind of been reborn, and has had the story arc. And we started with Johnny being very low in season 1. And now look where he is. And Robbie's been low. Why not him, be on top now?
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten his moment yet.
That's what I'm thinking. I think this is finally his.
Yeah. He's due for it.
I need more Terry Silver, though. I'm a little worried we're not getting Terry Silver.
You're going to get Terry Silver.
You get Terry Silver, but I don't think it'll happen until part 2. Have
you guys seen the clip that they released earlier today? Well, it was either today or yesterday.
No, we have not.
So this is not anything that's not in the promotional material. So because they've already released some pictures, so this isn't a spoiler. Mike Barnes is back.
Yeah.
Nice.
But he's not wearing like a Miyagi-Do gi, but he's there to help train the Miyagi-Do students at Daniel's and Johnny's request. Specifically to help him prepare for what's the name of the tournament? The Sekai Taikai or
I don't know.
Whatever it's called. So he's there specifically to help him for that, but he's like a freaking drill sergeant or something. And in the clip, he turns around and he says, "All right, it's going to be my way or the highway with these eliminations." And Daniel interrupts and he's like, selections. We need to be nice. And he just looks at him. No, it's my way or the highway.
I bet Hillary Swank's in this season.
I think she's got to be at some point.
I never saw that movie. She's got to be.
She's the only major character from the original series that
the only one left.
Yeah, she's the only one left.
She's Tori's mom, I bet. No, probably not.
Well, I think it's too much on the nose, but who else could she be?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to be upset if it is. That'll work. That'll work just fine.
No, it'll be nice. I'm
telling you right now, that clip of that kid that Bob sent us, who's going to be the antagonist, was the student of Kreese.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's going to whip on everybody. Yeah. He's going to unleash hell.
Hey, Derico, I told Bob yesterday, I think Kreese dies at the end.
Think so?
I think so. What do you think?
I could see it. I could see it. I don't know entirely how I think that would go down yet, but I could see it.
What if they did? Actually, I just thought of something. What if, remember in the flashback when his sergeant or the colonel told him his girlfriend died?
Yeah.
What if she didn't? And she shows up at the end and he kind of changes paths.
He's too far gone.
You think so?
He's too far gone.
Bob, what do you think?
I kind of agree with Derek. Look, the thing with Kreese is not per se like a full on villain. He still has somewhat of a heart and soul, because there were moments in the season 4, especially with Tori, that he would have been fine had she actually lost. Yeah. I mean, he was kind of treating her like, from his point of view, like he was a father figure in a way. He was almost okay with it happened. So he's still got a little bit of his humanity left. The thing is that when it comes to defeating his rivals, he still has that no mercy mentality. Yeah. And that makes me wonder: are we going to see what's the name of his master? Was Master Kim?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Does he come into this finally?
Yeah. That would be cool. That would be awesome.
That's a good call. That's just it. Kreese definitely has humanity, and I think that's one of the better parts about the show is how sophisticated they've treated that. Because when he goes to Johnny and he just apologizes, he says, "Look, I'm sorry. I know I hurt you, and you've always been my student, and you're my best student." And I don't think he was BSing on that one. I don't
either.
No, he was very serious.
Easily.
Yeah. So that's the fun part about this show is the layers that you get out of it. So I am excited. I think this is going to be fantastic.
I can't wait. We're going to be talking about it.
And they're doing it smart. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers talk about this. One of my my favorite podcasts, FNT, Friday Night Tights, they had several of them had an argument over the way that stuff gets released, as to whether the binge model was better or the weekly model, releasing it weekly. And so Netflix has always done the binge model, but lately they're getting to where they're releasing it in parts. And they're doing that, and that's creating more excitement and anticipation for that second part, because you're talking about what you saw for a lot longer in anticipation for the next part. And I think so the way they're doing it, I think it's pretty good.
That's a good call.
Yeah, God, I'm so torn, because I love seeing the whole season and watching it. But part of me is like, I'll watch like one episode and then it's like, I don't want to watch it all too fast. I know, Bob, you binge it and you love it. And I feel like, you could be done with it in a day and that's it. So I'm leaning towards watching it, having it released 1 week at a time. I know they're not doing that with this, but Derek, what do you think about that? What do you like?
So I definitely, well, okay. Real talk. When you have two boys who are 8 and 3, you're not going to be able to binge anything. So get that out of your head. But it is kind of fun because I do get to like watch an episode here, watch an episode there. And because I can't do that, it does give me something to look forward to. There is that aspect of this.
Yeah.
Now, I turn back, and I know that we keep talking about this, but I feel like I need to bring it up again. You put the last one in the theater. Put the last one in the theater. That people will go see it. They'll go. That you can now. I don't know if you release all 9 at the same time. Probably, you probably don't want to do that if we're gonna wait till episode 10 anyway. I don't mind the idea of releasing like, not once a week, but like maybe 2. You could do that. Just to give people something to look, pretty much look forward to. And then if you build that up within a month's time, right? Because then you'd have 8 episodes come out, 9 and 10 in the theater. I think it's a good way to do it. And people would go see this in the theater.
Well, here's the thing. I would go see it, but you could do it with this show, assuming the show leads into the new Karate Kid movie.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So I think that could be good because remember, they're releasing this in 3 parts. So it's supposed to be 15 episodes. So you got 5 coming later this month. And then you've got another 5 coming in November. And then the last 5, well, I think it's 5 in November. And then the last part is going to be, my guess is early 2025 because it does say that they're coming out in 2025. My guess would be early because they don't want to overlap with the Karate Kid movie. So that's what I'm thinking. But if you do it right, you could use that as a promotion to the other, and that's assuming it leads into the next Karate Kid movie. I'm curious to see how the show will play into that movie.
You mean they won't postpone the third part? They won't postpone the third part to 2027 or something?
You know what, Josh? If you say something that you're really excited for part 3, they might postpone it just to spite you.
Just to spite you.
Can't wait for the Batman 2 to come out in 5 years?
Yep. Well, now it's 5 years because you just said it.
Yeah.
They've been listening to the podcast, and now they're going to be like, well, no. You just did
like anything.
Maybe, there's no rush on this. 2030 sounds good.
Well, what's the initial date right now for the Batman 2? It's 2026, right?
Yes, I believe that's true.
Oh my God.
Yeah, look it up real quick, Derek. I'm just curious.
No, I felt like doing it. Yeah, October 2nd, 2026.
Okay, so that's the initial, which reminds me, Josh, did you ever see the Penguin trailer?
No, I need to watch.
You gotta go check that out. So it looks great. My understanding is Pattinson actually makes an appearance as Batman in it. That's what they're saying. So that'll be cool. But so that'll give you a chance. You get that'll kind of tide you over until then, and hopefully they can make a good movie out of that. But 2026, I think that's enough time. But if you keep pushing it, Josh, they will postpone it.
Yes. So just go watch The Acolyte. Lord knows you'll have a blast there. And
I love how it's released, 1 week at a time. It's great. I love the Acolyte. Sorry. Whoops.
Well, I'll tell you what, Josh, I'm glad that it's released a week at a time because I could not watch this whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah, I don't know if Bob would want to binge this at all.
No, this one I wouldn't binge.
I feel like it would make Bob ill, like he got food poisoning or something.
Oh my God.
I would be like that Master Torben. I'd be drinking that poison early on. I'm telling you that we mentioned this when Lily was on there. That was a smart character. He got himself out of the show early.
Yes. It's like, I'm done.
Yep.
He's like Cartman. Right. Screw you guys. I'm going home. That's a clip we got to get up in here.
I got my lippy cake.
Yeah, I want the cheesy poofs. All right. Let's get to this is a perfect segue, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, actually it is.
I'm excited. I am so excited.
About something that is also very near and dear to our heart because we just talked about one that was fantastic. So let's talk about really our top 5 in terms of all films. So, folks, we did some work on our side to obviously determine our top 5, and we had 2 honorable mentions on each of our lists. So the way I'm thinking we can do this, guys, is we'll do the honorable mentions first. We'll go round table here. Okay. So then, we'll each give our 5, 4, our 3, our 2, and 4. Our guests here this evening, we're going to surprise you all with our firsts. So that is the format. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, and, just real quick, if for some reason 2 of us have a number 1, we'll end up watching the other person's number 2. So,
all right, deal.
But the hope is that we'll watch everybody's favorite, or all 3 of our favorite trailers.
Yep.
Oh, and we do need to point out, these are our favorite trailers. They're not necessarily our favorite films.
No.
So,
and honestly, I think it's kind of criminal to try to ask somebody what their 5 favorite films are. That's
Josh and I were talking about that before. I think that we should do a show on that, because that would actually be fun to talk about that, because I think I would have to really think about it. Like, just even this topic, I had to really think about it. I went back and watched several of my favorite trailers in order to kind of order them and figure out which ones I really like the most.
Yeah, I mean, the trailers were like that. The trailers obviously are much easier, but I know what's going to happen with me is I'm going to really think about this, and the minute we're done, I'm going to be angry because I should have said that one. You know how that's going to work.
And Derek, I apologize. I really do. I have so many honorable mentions I just wrote down.
You got 2.
You got 2.
I'll do 2. I'll try.
Okay. Well, fine. We're ready to start. Josh, pick them. Honorable mentions now.
Okay.
Pick them.
So,
I mean, if you want to tell us what it came down between, but you tell us which your 2 are.
Okay.
My 2. Okay. My 2, I would say. All right. I'll pick the second one first. Phantom Menace. Because everybody was so ready for, we hadn't seen Star Wars since 1983, right? And this was 1999. And I just remember, God, what movie did I might have seen. Bob, did you and I see that movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith together?
I don't remember if we saw it together.
Because that's when you got the teaser for Phantom Menace. And all the teaser was Vader breathing. And I think you showed Padme at the window. And I haven't even watched this, by the way. I just thought about it as we were talking. And I remember the slow breathing. And, I think maybe Jar Jar was in there. And you were just so excited because you finally got a new Star Wars film. But then they reminded you that breathing, that it was going to be about Vader as a kid. But something sinister, and I loved it. So
you know what's interesting, Josh, about that trailer? Just real quick, I just want to throw this out there. You had people who went to see movies, or they paid to go see movies, and they walked out after the trailer played. That's all they went to go see is the trailer. So you're not wrong about the excitement level.
Yes.
You guys remember I Am Legend, right? Was that the one? Or no, but like the
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Yes.
The reason a lot of people went to see it is because they found out that the Dark Knight trailer was coming out before that.
Oh, was it? I thought they had. What was the movie where you had the billboard in the back that had Superman versus Batman? That wasn't I Am Legend?
I don't think so.
No, I think no. You know, it might have been I Am Legend.
I thought I never saw it, but I thought I remember hearing about that.
I could be wrong, but you might be right that it was that one.
Okay, so the second one is The Acolyte. Great. Oh, no, sorry. The second one is going to be a little, not shocking, but it was something that you can find online, and it was really never released. The original Spider-Man with the Twin Towers. You guys remember that? I told you, Bob, you would be shocked. You have a bank robbery, and these guys take off, and they get into a helicopter, and they're flying through New York. And all of a sudden, I think, Derek, you had originally told me about this. And the helicopter gets stuck in a web between the Twin Towers. I'm getting chills right now.
Did you go back and watch this?
No, not in a while.
So, the reason I'm asking is because is it even still out there?
Yeah, you can watch it. Yeah, Spider-Man, probably a year ago. I probably looked it up for some reason, and I thought it was going to be like the. I'm sure you told me, Derek, about it because
I think you did.
I had looked it up and it was so sick because it was so eerie because you had the Twin Towers. They took it down originally. They didn't play it because of the Twin Towers. And it got you just so excited for Spider-Man. And you look back and you're like, oh, I wish that was the real trailer.
This is some good old-fashioned Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I know, right? I just thought it was a cool honorable mention. And then the ones that I didn't do was, I just wrote this down, Force Awakens, because that was pretty cool when it first, little did we know what a disaster everything would be.
You're talking about the teaser trailer, or are you talking about the official trailer?
No, I would say the one with that's tough because you didn't know what was going on, and the teaser you see Finn pop up, and then you see like Kylo Ren in the snow with the lightsaber, and everyone freaked out because you had the lightsaber with the crossing with the guard on it, a new looking.
Yeah.
So, but then you had the other trailer where you had Han Solo and Chewie, and Han's like, Chewie, we're home. So I don't know. It was kind of mixed. And then my last one I thought about today because I watched it was the Batman teaser with because we wanted to know what Pattinson would look like.
And you're talking about the Batman.
Yes, the Batman. But again, I definitely think my honorable mentions Phantom Menace and Spider-Man, the original teaser that they took down.
All right. Okay. Bob, I think I placed a bet that the first one for Josh would be Star Wars. I think I won.
No.
Yes, the Phantom Menace. You just said it.
Well, that was
what he meant was that would be the first one you talked about.
The first one that came out of your mouth.
Okay.
All right. So, I was actually surprised, and this is not just about my honorable mentions. This is about my entire list. There are some films that I thought I was going to have on this list. When I went and I watched the trailers again, as well as the other ones that I really like, I thought to myself, you know what? As much as I really liked them at that time, over the years, these others have just grown on me more. And so because of that, my list is very different than what I expected it to be. And as I said, these are not necessarily my favorite films. Like several of of them on here, like there's maybe only one of these that would actually make my top 5 for all-time favorite films. And so when I come up with this list, I know we all had our own criteria, but for me, it was a combination of things like how many times have I rewatched the trailer? Was it a case of anticipation? Did I not even know anything about the film and the trailer sold me on it? What was the situation with movies and stuff going on at that time when the trailer was released? So it was a combination of things. So when it comes to my honorable mentions, the first one is the Hunger Games, the very first theatrical trailer. Now, the thing is the Hunger Games, I knew nothing about the books at the time. And the trailer came out, and really when it comes to the trailer, only pretty much all that's in the trailer is the first half of the film. It's not even when you get to the Hunger Games themselves. There's nothing really in that except where like the whole trailer, you're seeing them select Katniss or I shouldn't say select. You see her volunteering for her sister to be part of the Hunger Games, and you see them prepping her for the display and everything that they're going to turn her into. And the trailer ends with her on the platform where the countdown is going, and then they're all going to fight to the death. And you see them coming off the platform, and that's where the trailer ends. So I thought, I was like, boy, this is actually kind of interesting. I don't know anything about this, but this looks kind of interesting. So I want to go see this. And the franchise, even though the Hunger Games itself, the first film is not one of my top 10, maybe not even one of my top favorite 15 movies. It is one of my favorite movies, and I enjoy the franchise a lot. So that trailer sold me on it to where I was like, okay, I'm very curious about this. So that's on there. Then my next honorable mention is the Man of Steel trailer, but specifically the third trailer. That's the one where you actually hear Hans Zimmer's theme for Man of Steel throughout the trailer. Like it literally starts with that slow piano dun 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 dun, and and it's showing Krypton and everything and them sending him off, and it kind of goes through his life, and then it hits that part where he goes into his first flight, and the music just swells at that point. It was just such a cool trailer. And at the end of it is the scene where he's talking with Lois, and she says, "What's with the S?" And he says, "It's not an S. On my world, it means hope."
Oh yeah.
And it was really cool because it gave you the impression you were getting this hopeful Superman. And it turned out it was a lot different than that. Now, I really, really like Man of Steel, but I do understand it is divisive. But the trailer itself, that is my my next honorable mention. So The Hunger Games would be my 7th, and Man of Steel would be my 6th. So
all right, good picks all around. Okay, so for my list, I'm probably along the same lines as Bob, where I had to think hard about this, and for my list, maybe there's one on here that would be within my top 10 movies, but my favorite movies, it's not that the trailers even got me, honestly, but where the trailers do get me is Strange, and I'll be happy to share this with you guys because I don't even think Josh may know this, because we never really talked about what my favorite trailers even are. I think we've never discussed. We just discussed movies.
Yes.
So, all right, are you guys into horror movies at all?
I like some of them. There's a few that I like.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not even that big of a fan of them at all. I find it a waste of time to try to scare ourselves to a point where, now that we're getting older, we're probably going to need a change of pants and we're going to have to leave the theater.
So I'm thinking of a movie, Derek, and I'm not going to say it, but go ahead, because for some reason maybe I'm wrong. Go ahead.
No, well, you're going to be quite surprised, I think, with choices on here.
I think so.
So I'm not a fan of horror movies really at all. I don't see much of a point in going to them just because it's like, oh, you're just going to try to make me nervous for 2 hours.
Right.
So having said that, though, there's something about trailers and that level of suspense that gets you. That gets you real good.
Yeah.
And it's almost like being at Halloween and you see that monster pop out on the lawn that and for some odd reason I can always be down for that and always get hooked on it.
Okay.
So there's going to be there's going to be actually a fair amount of that on my list, but I'll go with my first honorable mention.
All right.
To go along with this theme, my first honorable mention is Us. It's a movie called Us by Jordan Peele.
That's a good
one. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I have never seen anything so terrifying. So here's the thing. I'm watching a sports game and I'm just enjoying myself. And then that comes on and I'm like, what in God's name is this? And it hooked me. I couldn't stop watching it. It's terrifying, but Jordan Peele's been one of those guys right now who seems to be, floating on cloud 9 because of how good his movies truly are. I'm sure I have seen a couple of them.
He's been on a hot streak.
Yeah, he has been. And I didn't even see Us, but I was glued. I couldn't help it. He has a great way of doing that and bringing a viewer in. So props to Us, my number 6. Well, we're not going to have to go too far because Bob played it earlier. America's Birthday, Independence Day.
How about
that? Wow. God.
That was a big deal.
I remember. Yeah, that was back at the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was always that one big action summer blockbuster back in the 90s. And then taking it back to Jurassic Park, there's plenty more. Feel free to comment if you like. We're not against that either. Tell us. Help me out.
Oh, Jurassic Park. Wow, that.
But Independence Day is the one that just still I can remember watching the trailers for that. Just thinking how huge of a movie it was going to be. And it's a great movie, too. You can still watch it and it'll play. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, God, that was.
I can't get enough of it.
It is great.
We're going to say, Derek, and
What's
I
that?
don't think this is one of your top 5, and if it is, I apologize. But when you mentioned the horror, I don't know why I was thinking Freddy versus Jason.
No.
Okay, I don't know why.
Okay, have either of you ever seen Freddy versus Jason?
Yes, I thought I saw it with you. Oh, I didn't see it with
It's
you.
supposed to be.
No, you
It's
didn't
supposed
see
to
it
be
with me.
terrible.
I saw
Okay.
it. It was crazy.
It is terrible.
I know.
And yet it's fun terrible. It really is, because it's so stupid that you can't help but enjoy it. Because, and the reason why I say that is because, like, the basic concept of it is that, like, Freddy's power has always come because the kids are afraid of him when they're falling asleep, and the more they're afraid of him, the more powerful he becomes. So he's not able to attack them in their dreams anymore because they're taking like a dream suppressant. So he's lost his power. So he goes to hell and gets Jason and wakes him up to go and start attacking everybody. So that way they'll think that all the parents who are giving their kids these dream suppressants will think that it's Freddy, and the kids will start getting afraid of him, and he'll become powerful again. But Jason does Jason things, and Freddy gets mad because Jason is killing all of his children. And
see that together? I know. That was like the one horror movie I saw in theater.
It is pretty cool because they have a whole sequence where they battle in the dream. And of course, Freddy's the more powerful one. And then they pull them out of the dream and they go head to head in the real world where Jason has the upper hand. But they end up having the final fight at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so dumb, but it's so fun. And Robert Englund does such a great job that I can't help but like it. It's like a guilty pleasure.
Did the original Jason play in that movie?
Well, no, there have been several Jasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there have been. Yeah.
And that's the difference, is that you can throw anybody behind that mask. Just get a big hulking type person, where Robert Englund, on the other hand, there's only one Freddy Krueger. I mean, yes, they've casted somebody else with a remake, but there's only one.
Yeah, they could cast me as Jason, big hulking figure.
I was gonna say that Jason always gets the nod to me because he's bald.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, all right, very cool.
All right, for that tangent, I just couldn't help but mention it.
No, that was. It's like the best part was listening to you say it, because then you hear it and you're like, "Dear God!"
I don't know why I thought
it's so fun that it's just so dumb, but you can't help but be like,
Bob. I think you
can't help but laugh.
Yeah,
I think you and I saw it together in the theater.
I don't think so. I think I went with another friend from work. So
no, I don't know. Okay, let's move on then.
All right, to number 5s. Now we come to it. So thank you, honorable mentions, Josh. To you.
This is in honor of you, Derrico, based on a comic book, X-Men First Class teaser trailer. Love the beginning of it. Watched it many times. Obviously just watched it. Today. And I love the start of it because it shows Professor X's wheelchair. And it's like before he was Professor X. And I thought originally they said he was Charles, but it doesn't say that. And then it shows Magneto's helmet and cape before he was Magneto. And I just thought it was a really, really cool trailer because, everyone's like, X-Men First Class, not sure if it's going to be good or not. And it ended up being one of my favorite movies in that whole, franchise. I just loved it. You know me, Bob, and my origin stories. And just was really into it. And then at the end, it shows the logo, the X-Men First Class, but around it, it said Xavier School for the Gifted. And I thought that was just so cool. And it really got me excited to see the movie.
Good choice.
It's a very good choice. I can't say enough about that one. In terms of origin stories, I mean, honestly, it's just one of the better films. Better films that Marvel's done.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really great movie. You could honestly put it up against like probably a lot of pre-Endgame MCU films, and it holds up just fine. Honestly, it does.
True.
Yep. It's good stuff. Good choice.
Thank you.
You're not welcome. Bob, go ahead.
All right, so number 5 for me is Zack Snyder's Justice League, the first official trailer, not the teaser, because the teaser was the one where they had Hallelujah playing, but the official trailer, I love the way that it starts. Because, all right, so when it first came out, the trailer, you got to keep in mind what was going on at the time. We had the coof going on at the time, and there was no entertainment going on around. There was hardly anything was coming in the theaters. I think they were just beginning to have new releases come back to theaters at that point. So we were all starved for entertainment. And the fabled Snyder Cut was something that had been talked about for so long, and it was finally going to happen, that they gave him extra money to turn around and finish the film. And so it was something we were all excited for. Obviously, the teaser was pretty cool with the Hallelujah, but the official trailer, the way that it starts, you've got Doomsday holding Superman, and you see him screaming from where he had died, and those waves coming out from where his where he's screaming out, and it just off the bat, it lets you know this is going to be different than what was in the theaters. Yeah, and of course, from there, it then goes into this little monologue by Lex Luthor as you're seeing the wave of his voice kind of going through Metropolis and across the globe, because that's how loud his scream was. But you hear Lex Luthor saying that the bell has been rung across the stars. He's heard the voice that the God is dead. And then it goes into, the whole breakdown of the movie where you're seeing Batman saying that I got to get the team together, and I had a dream, and you see Wonder Woman there and all of them, and of course you see the black or Superman in the black suit for the first time, I think, during that trailer.
Yep.
So yeah, there was just it was just really cool. I really like the trailer, and then again, when you put it in the context of what was going on during that time, I thought it was just a really, really good trailer.
Nice.
That's a good one. Just because of circumstances, just because circumstances alone, that's a good choice.
Yeah, it got me all excited for it, and I was already excited because, again, the Snyder Cut is something that they've been talking about for a long time, and we were starved for entertainment. And then this trailer hits, and I was like, "Dang, this is going to be different. This is good."
Mm-hmm. Good choices for number 5s. So my number 5, it goes back to the horror thing again. Well, it's not. I guess it is, but maybe even more science fiction. But my number 5 is Cloverfield.
Oh,
wow!
Yeah,
yeah, interesting.
So Cloverfield starts off at this 20-somethings bash. It looks like a reality movie, and and they're kind of douchebags. You're just you're just sitting here what is this? We don't have time for this. And then that's when the action starts happening. The lights start flickering, and then the TV starts acting all funky. And they go outside, and that explosion hits in the Statue of Liberty. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And then the Statue of Liberty's head hits the street.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
That was
maybe
unreal. I got drawn in hook, line, and sinker with that. So it was a well-done movie that, I think kind of people took people by surprise. It's not on my, top 5 or even top 10 movies, but it was enjoyable for what it was. And the trailer is what gets you hooked right from the start. It's a really, really well-done piece of business. It kind of took that idea from the Blair Witch Project, making something real, but then taking it to, the horror movie landscape. And I remember people talking about this trailer a lot. People were very, very intrigued. To a point where it's have you seen the Cloverfield trailer? I remember it wasn't even they were asking about the movie. They were asking about the trailer. So that's got to count for something.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. It was a big, big deal at the time.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I'm going with that as my number 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good for you.
Right. Well, I'm not done yet.
I know.
All right, number 4, Josh.
All right, Bobby and I just talked about this the other day. I went back and watched the trailer, got goosebumps. Superman Returns. I went
I was
back.
real close to having that one in my honorable mention.
I went back, and the reason I like it is because it's the first time you see Superman all the way back. This was 2006. The last time we had a Superman movie, 1987. Bobby's all-time favorite movie, The Quest for Peace. And I know I still think that one's better than the third one. I don't know.
Crap, mega crap.
Which one? The third one or the fourth one?
Both. But
yeah, take your
But it was just so cool because even Bob said, you had like the John Williams music playing, and then you got to see Brandon Routh in the suits.
So you're talking the teaser trailer.
And yeah, this was
because that's the one I was real close to putting in my honorable mentions.
And he's just walking towards Lois Lane, and it was just cool. You had hope. Little did we know there wouldn't be a lot of action in that movie, and that would be the only movie we would have gotten. But I just thought it was really, really cool after not seeing Superman on the big screen. And maybe I have it in my top 5 because I was so excited, at the time that we were getting Superman. Because actually, it's funny, we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or when we were first we're doing practice podcasts. But the plane scene in Superman Returns, I can watch that over and over again. And so, yeah, I really thought that Superman Returns, it gave us hope to see Superman on film again. And you were like, oh, wow, finally we get to see him, in this role again. And it was really cool.
You forgot probably the next best part of that trailer, because you mentioned that you had John Williams' theme, and it was specifically the theme where from Krypton.
Yeah.
But you had Marlon Brando's voice.
Yes.
And he's saying they can be a great people, Kal-El, they wish to be.
Yes.
And they only lack the light to show the way. And as he's saying that, you're seeing Superman rise up with the sun in the background. So
yes.
Yeah, it was the mixture of John Williams' theme and Brando's voice.
Yeah. It was cool. So that was my number 4.
All right.
That's a good choice. I continuously forget about Marlon Brando in those movies.
I know,
I'm always reminded. I'm like, oh my god, he was in this. It's a fun surprise. Don't get it twisted. All right, Bob, to you.
All right, my number 4 is the only film that I've got on my top 5 that I would actually put as one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And that was Interstellar. The official trailer. It would be the second official trailer, and technically the first IMAX trailer. Okay, so I really came down between the teaser and this one, for the two, or for this film, because the teaser shows it doesn't show a lot of stuff, but it shows like a lot of history of flight and space travel and stuff like that. And you hear Matthew McConaughey's voice in the background, but you hear the theme that Hans Zimmer wrote for Interstellar playing in the background. So I got really close to picking the teaser over this one, but for this official trailer, it starts off where you've got McConaughey saying how we used to think about our place in the universe or in the stars, and now we're only looking at our place in the dirt. And it shows all the stuff that's happening on Earth, and eventually the trailer kind of goes into showing him going into space, having to leave his daughter behind, and that's an emotional scene, and that actually hooked me, because when I saw this is one of those movies that I got hooked by the trailer, because I saw the name Christopher Nolan, who was coming off of the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you saw Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway was in it. Michael Caine, he's in the trailer, and then he's got the voiceover where he's giving, I think it's a poem where he's saying, "Do not go gentle into that good night." And so as he's reading this, you're seeing all the different places that they went to in space, and it shows what a grand scale this is going to be. And then the final shot is of the black hole in the background with one of the little planets right there. And I was just like, whoa, this looks pretty cool. And as we know with Nolan, he likes to use a lot of practical effects. So for him to achieve what he achieved with that movie was awesome. But the trailer is what sold me. If I hadn't seen this particular trailer, I don't know if I would have even gone to see the movie, because I went like at an 11 o'clock showing, and you've seen it, right, Derek?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've seen it, right, Josh?
Yep.
You remember it's a long movie, but I went like at 11 o'clock at night, and I wasn't even tired, and this was after work, and I enjoyed every moment of it, and it all started because of the trailer.
That's awesome.
It's hard to deny a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, you know, just as you see his name, and I'm thinking, okay, Christopher Nolan. We got space. We got, you know, everything that he's known for coming off of these great movies that he's done. Matthew McConaughey is in this. What can go wrong with this? No. And it was good. Yeah. Really, really good movie. Like I said, this is the only one I would have in my top 5.
I almost put Inception in my honorable mentions, actually.
That's almost a good trailer too.
That's a great trailer, but it just couldn't make it this time. Top 10, probably, absolutely, it would have been in there.
Yeah, I would have put it in my top 10.
By the way, guys, I was just thinking I could list my top 5 movies with ease.
Yeah?
Yep.
You think so?
Pretty easy.
I would need to think about it.
At least
I need to think.
At least 4 of them.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, go ahead, Derek.
Okay, so it's to me. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of keep with the same thing I have been. I'm gonna talk about a movie that still psychologically scars me to this day. But you know, I think it did to plenty of people. My number 4 is The Exorcist.
All right.
Really? God, is he creative?
Okay. Yeah. So The Exorcist was made in like the mid 70s. I think it was 73, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, maybe
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember watching, like, somehow I caught the trailer. I can't remember how I caught it, but I remember thinking to myself, you know, for 1973, that's pretty up there. Like, it's pretty nuts. It definitely is one where, like, you go back and you'd watch it and you wonder what in the holy heck is about to happen here, because that just looks terrifying. I can't watch the movie still. I can't watch it. It just freaks me out way too much. Yeah, it's weird. Like Jewish people were going to church after that movie came out. Everybody knew. Terrifying.
Y'all were taking the holy water and
yeah, please. It looks like it works.
You know what? We need a T-shirt with Derek's quotes from the podcast, because I can't remember all of them. Jewish people went to church after watching the Exorcist.
They did. Well, throw Muslims in there too. That they probably were there as well. Everybody was terrified.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dear Lord, that was scary. But the trailer for just if you can go back and watch the trailer, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very ahead of its time, especially for the 70s. That was kind of unheard of.
See, I got to go check that out now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I want to check that too.
Yeah. Check it out. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. It probably will not be in a lot of people's top trailers, but I thought it was very creative and very well done. And boy, will it scare the heck out of you.
Nice. All right. So what are we on? Number 3?
Number 3.
All right, gentlemen. Actually, the next 2 are part of my all-time favorite movies.
All right.
Bob, I have pretty much made the decision on this one. The Dark Knight teaser trailer, because it was so creative, because you start out and you hear Bruce Wayne talking to Alfred, and he's kind of talking about the Joker, and he's like, you know, the mob was different. We had the mob, but this guy is different. And, you know, he's just talking. And at the end, you hear, starting tonight, people will die. I'm a man of my word. And then the laugh, and then the Joker card comes out right at you, and you're like, holy crap, this is for real. And Derek, I was so torn between that and the first trailer, because in the first trailer, and I went back and I watched both, and you had the Joker in there, and you had the good evening, Commissioner, and like it was so both.
That's great. They're both great.
So close, but I had to think creatively on this, and I'm like, this. I remember seeing the trailer in the movie, the teaser, and I'm like, in the movie theater, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait what's the Joker going to look like?
Yeah.
And it was so cool. And you knew this guy was a psychopath and he was a freak.
I remember thinking to myself when I heard Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker, I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, Bob and I too. Bob,
and I'm like, boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, and Bob goes, you know what? Let's give it a chance.
You know why I said let's give it a chance is because I have seen him in some pretty good roles. I thought he was great in The Patriot.
Yeah.
I thought he was great in that film as Mel Gibson's oldest son in that movie, and that's what kind of convinced me that he could play a dramatic role, because I think before then I know he had played some dramatic roles, but that's what convinced me, because before then I'd always thought of him in some of his kind of boyish roles and stuff like that, where he was playing like the hot teen. Well, what was the one that he was in with Melissa Joan Hart? You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Oh God, I got it in my head and I can't
that's okay. I don't even care about the name. But my point is that's what I thought of him until I saw The Patriot. Yeah. So that's why I was like, all right, you know what? Let's give this a chance.
It was so good. Yeah, so good. Okay, Bob, let's hear yours. I gotta hear this.
All right, so my number 3 is going to be Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, the official trailer. So I guess this would be the second official trailer. So when I saw the first Lord of the Rings film, The Fellowship of the Ring, I didn't know what to expect because I had never read the Lord of the Rings books.
Right.
And so I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I heard this was a massive undertaking to film 3 movies simultaneously. It wasn't like they filmed them back to back to back, like they did the first one and then they did the second one and then they did the third one. They were filming all 3 films together. So like one day you could be filming part of the first part. The next day you could be filming part of the third part. So it was a massive undertaking, and for them to be able to pull it off the way that they did. But anyway, so I saw the first film. It ends on a massive cliffhanger. And so I was excited to see the second part, which comes out a year after.
Right.
And so when this trailer hits, I didn't even see the teaser or anything. This was the first one I had seen. And I got all excited because it reveals a couple of things that a bunch of us were excited. And of course, if you read the book, it wouldn't be a surprise. But for people like myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, you find out that the wizard Gandalf is still alive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's still alive. But what I really liked about the trailer was it's got one particular kind of style or feel to it. And then all of a sudden it hits the midway point and the music picks up and it gets to kind of this real exciting music and it starts building and building and building. And it gets to the point where all of a sudden the music is like dun 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 dun, and as it's doing this, you're seeing the battle sequences from the Battle of Helm's Deep, and Gandalf is telling Aragorn the defenses have to hold, and he's like, they will hold, and it's just really a really cool trailer. I remember getting so excited. It's one that I watched multiple times that year leading up to The Two Towers. I was so excited to see it. Great trailer.
Nice.
Those trailers are all pretty epic, actually.
They are. And I have to point out, I actually think that the third film, The Return of the King, is the better one of the two. Actually, I would even argue that The Fellowship the first one might even be the best of the 3. But The Two Towers had my favorite trailer.
I saw all 3 with you, Bob.
Yeah, you did. After the fact, because Josh had watched them with me afterwards because he was curious to see Return of the King based on the trailer for it. So he's like, okay, well, I need to go back and watch these others. And so we went back and watched the first 2 parts together.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. That's a good one. All right. My number 3. This is one that I just kept coming back to. I didn't think this was going to be my top 5, but I kept thinking about it. And I'm like, look, if I'm thinking about it this much, then it probably should be in there. It's off the beaten path for sure. My number 3 is the teaser trailer for The Watchmen.
Okay.
Oh, really?
All right.
Yes,
no. don't even say
Josh.
you were excited or not
Yeah.
excited. You were interested, Josh, when you saw the Watchmen trailer. So don't even.
I'm not saying you have to like the movie, Josh. I'm saying the trailer was good, and it still is.
It was.
If you go back and watch the trailer, you sit continuously through it wondering what is this? I'm way interested, but boy, is this out of whack? I gotta check this out. And I got a chance to not read the entire graphic novel, but I definitely read pieces of it. There's a lot of crazy cool themes in the Watchmen in general. And what I loved about this one in particular is that it doesn't hit you like a comic book movie. I don't think they were intending for it to, but it definitely has a lot of comic book pieces to it that make it feel like it is. You didn't really know that there weren't heroes with superpowers except for one, and they show that in the trailer too. I mean, just the fact that there's this blue guy glowing, you're like, what? I got to see what this guy's gonna do. There's a lot to like, and I thought was captivating about it. So I know it's not for everybody, but I loved it.
You know what? This is one of those movies where we've talked about Zack Snyder before.
Yeah.
You know how divisive he is. He's got a style that you either like it or you don't. Yeah. And it's funny because just in what we've talked about, I said 2 trailers that were from Zack Snyder films, and then you said Watchmen. So we're talking. Yeah, this is the type of film that Zack Snyder, I think, excels at, because it's not something that's his own creation as far as like Rebel Moon or something like that. It's an adapted material. So I think he works better with stuff that's adapted, and he brings his visual style, because nobody denies he's got a flair for the visual. And that was really good for Watchmen.
Yeah, good call. I mean, I wouldn't even actually probably put it on my top 10, but there's a lot of cool themes about it. And it's the trailer will captivate you still. If you go back and watch it, you'll be like, man, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So like I said, I kept getting it in my head, and I'm like, well, it's not going away, so I'm going to put it on my list.
There you go.
All right. Yes, Josh.
All right,
how mad did I make you? Yeah, how mad did I make you?
No, very mad. No, not really. My number 2 movie is also trailer is also one of my favorite all-time movies, The Revenge of the Sith teaser trailer. Mm-hmm. That was just watched it the other day. It still gives me chills. Love it because it's the first time you see Anakin Skywalker in the suit. And then I love it how you hear the Emperor go, Lord Vader. And then you hear, nobody knew if James Earl Jones was going to be in it or not with the voice. And you hear, yes, master. And he goes, rise. And then he's coming up onto the table, and you see like Obi-Wan looking up, and people look, because it looks like, it's kind of like, oh, they're looking at Vader. And then you also had the great part where it shows Mustafar, the volcanic planet, because for years, everyone was like, well, how did Anakin become Vader? And, there were rumors, because I remember there's always rumors, oh, he fell in like molten lava and something. Well, that basically confirmed it, because you saw the flames and everything. And then you saw there's a part with C-3PO on, the Tantive 4. So you're like, oh, that's cool. That's retro. And it just got you so excited for that movie. But really the icing on the cake was seeing Anakin in the Vader costume. And it really made you feel comfortable knowing, okay, we get to see him in the suit. We don't know how long it'll be, but at least we'll see the suit. And then you also saw part of the Obi-Wan and Anakin lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
Love the visuals of the whole movie, the way they showed it. What else can I say about it? That was a movie I saw in the theaters. I mean, I saw that with Bob, and then I went back on my own and saw it. I never would go see a movie on my own, but that I had to, I just loved it. I loved it. And it was just a great storyline, and it brought everything together. Everyone complains about the prequels, but like I've always said, and Bobby knows this, it all led to that movie. It was all about Anakin. That's it. The other thing was just setting up Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones was just setting up that story, and just was so excited when the teaser came out. And, got to see Vader and got to hear James Earl Jones' voice because, we didn't know if he was going to do it or not. Probably now looking back on it, of course he would do it. But really cool, and seeing, Padme, and also the beginning of the trailer, I just remembered because you had Obi-Wan, the old Obi-Wan, Alec Guinness, saying, "For 1,000 generations, the Jedis were the keepers of peace." And you would see like Qui-Gon holding the lightsaber, and you saw Luke running up on Tatooine to the, homestead. So it was just really cool. I love that trailer.
I had a feeling that was going to be on here.
Yeah.
I was wondering where it was going to be. Okay, it's 2. Yeah, that's high up there.
It's 2. It's high. Yep.
Right. Got it. Bob, to you, sir.
All right. My number 2 is the third trailer for the 2009 Star Trek reboot.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I'm a big Star Trek fan. Especially, I have a soft spot for the original crew. Now, the teaser hinted that it was going back, that it was going to be a prequel, and the second trailer kind of confirmed that. And the second trailer is actually the one that sold me that I was going to probably like this movie. So the third one came out, the third trailer, and this is my favorite of the group. It presents the film as being like an epic film. Now, it turns out that the film was very different than that, and I actually still like the film, but I don't like the direction they took the series, but I love the trailer. And the trailer is very Captain Kirk centric.
Yeah.
Or centered. It shows him taking the seat or taking the captain's chair, sitting down in it for the very first time.
Yeah.
And it makes it seem like, he has to step up to the plate and take over, because there's a scene there where Dr. McCoy says, "We have no captain and no first officer to replace him." And then all of a sudden you see Kirk say, "Yeah, we do."
Yeah.
And he turns around and he sits down in the chair for the first time. And of course you see all the crew members. The other thing was it confirmed that time travel was going to be involved, because you see the villain turning around saying, "James T. Kirk was a great man, but that was another life." And it lets you know there that time travel is involved in the storyline. And so I just thought it was a fantastic trailer. I was really excited when I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really, really good. And it sold me on the idea of Chris Pine playing Captain Kirk, because William Shatner in my mind is always going to be Captain Kirk. Yeah. And Chris Pine plays him very differently, as far as, he doesn't, or I shouldn't say differently. He doesn't try to do a Shatner impersonation. He plays him different, but he still captures, I think, some of the essence of Captain Kirk, or at least he did in that trailer. And I think he plays the role pretty good. The other thing was that at the time, J.J. Abrams was an up and coming director. And this was kind of the film that really, I think, helped him get Star Wars down the line, because he did a fairly good job, or at least people believe that he did a fairly good job with the first 2 Star Trek films. And you got to keep in mind, he had also come off of Mission Impossible, which was good. He had the success of Lost. He had, so he was coming off of a lot of successes. So he was an up and coming director. And I really, really like that third trailer.
J.J. Abrams does kind of get a bad rap, doesn't he? I mean, those Star Trek movies were not bad.
No,
they were actually very enjoyable. Yeah,
they're enjoyable, but I can understand why hardcore Star Trek fans are not big fans of them, because they are very different from traditional Star Trek. So I get that. And there's some things here and there where the way that it's written, that I can understand why they had some problems with it. But I do think they have more of a mass appeal to a general audience than that. But like I said, I really, really like that trailer. I almost put it as my number 1.
Yeah,
but I got it as my number 2.
It's a well done show. Like, if you're a Star Trek fan, it does do it very good justice.
Yeah.
The trailer does. So, yeah, well done. All right. My number 2 is actually another movie that we've discussed here on the podcast, and it may go back to the horror genre for sure, but I think more sci-fi probably, if anything. My favorite, well, not my favorite. I'm sorry, we're on number 2. Where are you, Derek? Number 2 for me is Aliens, 1979.
Wow, that's a good one.
So the original Alien, you're
Probably not seen the trailer. I've seen that movie many times, but never the trailer.
It is everything that you get from the film. And this is one where I will watch that one over repeatedly, because even if it is horror, it is so good. It is so well done. The best part in the trailer is right at the end, after they show you all this action and all this crazy stuff is going on, and it just says, like, right on the center of the screen, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's one, I mean, Aliens Done is obviously very iconic. There is something very cult classic about it, though, too. Like, when I hear how much, like, people, like, you talk to anybody, and if they say, man, I'm a huge fan of the first Alien or the second Alien movies, you know you're talking to good people, because those are fun, fantastic films. Now, I'm not sure about the third or
first two are excellent. First two are really good.
The third one is okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were there, but no, the
Prometheus is horrible.
Well, yeah. I will say the new one looks really good, though.
Yeah,
that could be good.
I want to see the new one. The new one feels like a callback to that original film.
Yeah, I think that that one will be very, very good. I'm looking forward to seeing that in the theater, actually. Ripley is still one of my favorites in terms of heroes. Yeah. She's pure badass. It's a great trailer. Like, it does the movie a huge amount of justice. So even if these movies I'm listing here don't, that one does.
Wasn't that her first film?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
It might have been.
Maybe.
Yeah. I would need to double check, but I could be wrong on that. But it's what helped make her a star.
Was it 1980?
No. It was in the
79
when the first one came out.
79. Okay. Yeah, maybe it was.
It's a good one.
Cool. Very good one. Very good one.
So when we do our number ones, after we state it, do we each state our number one first and then go and watch the 3 trailers? Or after Josh gives his, we'll watch Josh's trailer. Then after I give mine, it's up to you guys.
Let's do all of them.
Okay.
What about it, Derek? You go with that?
I'm easy going. Not a problem.
All
right. So my number 1, I bet Bobby can figure out. I don't know. Do you want to guess, Bob?
No, go ahead and just say it.
So it's kind of maybe shocking, but I don't know. I just can't stop watching it. The Snyder Cut teaser, Hallelujah.
Really?
I don't know why. I can watch that over and over and over again. I love the music. Maybe it was because it was during the height of COVID and it brought hope, and everyone hated the Justice League. And I was kind of in the minority. I liked it, but this one, just like the way it starts, and again, similar with Superman and Doomsday's, hand screaming, and something about it, and you see the Flash, and you see him saving Iris, the right way, and you see what's his name, Cyborg playing football, and you see Wonder Woman with the the arrow and the flame. And and the music, and then there's the part where they're all around, and you see the image of Superman flying, kind of you see the red cape, and it was so funny because when it first debuted, people thought it was Supergirl, that she was going to make an appearance. Thank God that didn't happen, and it was Superman. But what do you call it? And then then the line at the very end where he says, "Do we really have?" When the Flash says, "Do we really have a chance?" Who's destroyed, planets. And Ben Affleck goes, "He's never fought us and never fought us united." And then it goes, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I got to say, Josh, I'm surprised that was your number 1.
Are you really?
I am surprised that was your number 1.
Yeah. I watch it so many times. I watched.
I gotta say, I was surprised as well. I thought it was going to be The Dark Knight. I honestly did.
Yeah, but I just lately, that's if I want to watch a trailer, I tend to watch that, and I just love the music, and he heard the chord, the major, the minor, and it just, I don't know, it just is a really.
Boy, Zack Snyder's making his way onto through our list here.
Through ours, didn't he?
Yeah, and then Lois Lane walking, and then she looks up, and there's Superman, and it's almost like, I don't know. I thought they did it. It's a very different trailer, because I'll tell you both why I think that. A normal trailer, you've not seen the movie before. You know what I mean? This, there were parts, we saw the movie. We saw the Justice League. So it was interesting.
Well, we saw a Frankenstein monster of a movie.
Right, but if you think about it, like in this movie, how many times have you seen, like, for example, Cyborg's dad. What's his name?
Cyborg's dad?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Stone. What's his last name? Stone?
Yeah, Stone. Dies in the trailer.
Yes.
You see him. When would you ever see that?
Well, I don't know if does that make it good though? Does that part make it good?
No, I don't know. I just really
the music will get you. I'm with you on that. The music will get you.
I think
it goes like this: the fourth and fifth.
Yeah, and Bobby loves the. When you said the second one, I was like, oh God! And I went back and I watched it. You sent it to me, and I watched it, and it's great, but didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I just like the second one better, but I don't. But I don't have a problem with the teaser trailer either. So
yeah, so that's mine. Kind of shocking, but
I am shocked.
But remember what you want to watch, what you tend to like look up, and how many times have you watched that trailer?
All right,
fair enough. Boy, this one, Bob, I'm interested.
Okay, mine's really not going to be a shock.
No,
mine is the Avengers Endgame official trailer. Okay, so we're talking 10 years of storytelling, the cliffhanger from Infinity War, and the official trailer hits, and it doesn't tell you really anything about the movie. In fact, a good portion of the trailer uses footage from the other films in it, and the music in it just builds up to the point to where you finally hear the Avengers theme, and you see Captain America leading the Avengers out onto the platform when they're going to go back in time. And I just thought it was a great trailer. The only downside of the trailer is that you see Captain Marvel at the end of the trailer. But that part aside, this is the trailer that I probably rewatch the most. I do get chills when you hear that Avengers theme hit, and you see the A come out where it says Endgame, but you see pieces of the A coming back together like it was fractured. The Avengers were fractured, and now they're being put back together. And so I really love that trailer. It's my number one.
Very good.
That's a good choice. It was not anticlimactic, Bob. It was just fine. Don't you worry about it.
It's just fine.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a logical choice. It's not even my favorite Marvel movie. I think Infinity War is better, and I think Infinity War is a better film. And my favorite Marvel movie would actually be Winter Soldier. But
that I knew. That one I thought that would have made this list.
But the trailer for Endgame, the official trailer,
I'm gonna go back. Well, we're gonna see it. So
yeah.
Okay, Derek, go. What is it?
Right. So I already made Josh mad once.
Oh God!
Want to see me do it again?
What did you do?
What do you think?
What is it?
Man of Steel, the teaser trailer.
No, it's a no.
Okay, are we talking
No.
We're talking the teaser or the first official trailer?
No,
well, okay. That was where I kind of got lost, because I think this one is like maybe it is the first official, actually.
Yeah, because they did it they did a teaser trailer, but they did it from like two perspectives. They had a teaser trailer where you had what's his name? Russell Crowe giving like a monologue, and then you had one where you had Kevin Costner giving a monologue, but both of the trailers end where you seeing Henry Cavill flying through the air. And then that's how the trailer ends.
Are you talking about when he comes through the ship, and he kind of looks up at the sun, and then he goes and he flies up. Is that
there's like this? There's like a very big, like there's almost like a holy music when he starts.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I think that's the first official trailer. I think
that's the first official one. Okay, my bad. But that's Superman. That's it. That's how he should look. That they nailed it in terms of just the look of how he should be presented. Because and look, I was thinking about. I'm like, I don't know if I want to put if I'm going to give one comic book, one hero the nod.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the trailers here. Because I could have gone even more all over the place of when I did, but I'm like, look, I'm going to put one hero on there, and that was him. That was exactly what it should have been. It was perfect. It's a perfect way to present Superman and a superhero movie, just because it presents him as holy.
Yeah,
almost angelic. So I love it. I'm still hooked to this day. When you go back and watch it. You'll know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Okay, let's watch these. I'm excited.
All right. So we'll start with yours, Josh. Let me get this set here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me share the screen. You guys can see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Now I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. 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 I did my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth, I didn't come to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah.
Guy's probably fought hundreds of thousands of other super beings on the other planets he's destroyed, right? And we have to assume he's won.
I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells. He's never fought us. Not us united.
There's something I want to say, but I just can't because we're on camera.
No, we're off now.
Huh?
Okay, what were you going to say?
We're recording. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me get the end game trailer.
Derek, you know the joke.
Yes, I think I know where you're going.
Mathematical. Let's see this end game.
All right. Let me share my screen again. You guys got it?
Yeah.
God, seems like 1,000 years ago. I fought my way out of that cave, became Iron Man. Realized I loved you. I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
The world has changed. None of us can go back. All we can do is our best. And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
I saw all these people die. I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
We will. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
I like this one.
Wow.
No, you don't, Thor. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I love how they can't show the Hulk, though.
Well, yeah.
With the walking, when they're all walking. He's the only one missing.
That was a
And
good
let me
one.
see if I can get the Man of Steel trailer.
That was a good trailer. That was a good. That was good. The end game was.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it's this one. Let me.
This was fun.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This is very good. I so want to just tell you guys my top 5 because one of them is so random, or it's not even random. It's just a movie I love.
For favorite movies?
Yeah,
we need time for that.
That would be cool.
I need at least a month.
A month?
Here, just give me a second. I'm still looking for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this one. You let me know if it's not this one. Speak up, Derek.
I will.
All right, so let me share the screen. All right, can you guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
Official trailer 2.
The world's too big, Mom. Then make it small. Focus on my voice. Pretend it's an island out in the ocean. Can you see it? I see it.
My son was in the bus. He saw what Clark did.
You have to keep this side of yourself a secret.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe.
I have so many questions.
Where do I come from?
You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark. Whoever that man is, he's going to change the world.
Believed that if the world found out who I really was, they'd reject me. He was convinced that the world wasn't ready. What do you think?
Come on. Come
awesome.
on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good trailer.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Just sad the movie sucked, but it just.
Shut up, Josh.
Yeah, really. Shut up, Josh. Bob, if you have it, feel free to hit him with it now.
Shut up!
Thank you. That's how we're going to end our night. Well, gents, that was a good round of top 5 for this evening. A blast. I don't know when we'll do our top 5 movies, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm going to need time to think about that one, but we have it. That's the good news. All right.
Yeah.
So I think that'll call it a wrap for tonight, unless anybody wants to say any last thoughts about the trailers, but
no.
Good
All
show.
Right. Then it's time to sign off and go get the grill on. All right. Let's talk social media. Bob, where are you at?
You can find me over on YouTube. You can also find me over on Critic List and on X. I'll have we'll have the links for all of us down in the description below. So that's where you can find me.
Very good. Josh, to you, sir.
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, on TikTok, and LinkedIn. I'm the Family Man of the Valley. I'm a realtor here in Southern California. So if you're thinking of buying or selling, hit me up.
All right. And as for me, you can probably find me with all those other folks that were alive and good and healthy when the Exorcist trailer was out back in the 70s. And now we're all old people on LinkedIn and Facebook. So that's me.
There we go.
All right, folks. Well, do have a great 4th of July. It's been a pleasure talking with you this evening. Gents,
gentlemen.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
All right.
You guys
Good night.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.